Okay, here we go. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new webinar. Today, me and Stefano will speak about our AI job simulation powered by Anthropos. I'm Mario Lama, founding account executive, so more than happy to give you a quick overview today about our job simulation and also to show you a live demo of our platform, in particular on how the job simulation works and how it's easy to customize on your site. This is the agenda for today. So we will give you more details about how we'll build Anthropos. Then I will give you some information about the AI job simulation of Anthropos, some example how it can be used on your site, and then, like I said, we will go on a demo of the platform, and we will give you the last part of this session to ask from you and to answer to all your questions, all your thoughts, and all your feedback about what we built here. So before giving you more details about the job simulation, I think that would be nice. So I wanted to introduce you to Stefano to give you more information about Anthropos and how we build our product.
Yep, thank you so much, Mario. Just quickly, thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm Stefano Bellasio. I'm one of the founders at Anthropos, and I just wanted to explain briefly what Anthropos is about. It's a new company that we've been building for about a year, and our focus is actually on developing skills inside organizations. We have a long history of working with large organizations such as Microsoft, Deloitte, SAS, and a few others. And in that journey, we actually learned how modern organizations need to upskill their people, they need to manage their talent, and they actually need to manage also their career paths. And so that's really what Anthropos is about. A lot of what we're going to show you today is specifically about job simulation, so that's a very specific product that we've been building. But of course, probably in the next few weeks, we're going to show you even more about the entire platforms. Back to you, Mario.
Thank you, Stefano. So speaking about job simulation, as Stefano said, today we wanted to show you and have a deep dive of the job simulation feature of our platform. And if I have to give you an idea about what we have behind that that feature of Anthropos, think about that. We will use an AI-powered sandboxes where you can easily test soft and hard skills in real scenarios. So the idea is that we wanted to give you the opportunity to you and to your workforce to interact with real clients, partners, colleagues, with the idea to replicate real scenarios. So think about job roles, task, or real project. The good thing is that you can assess both, so soft and hard skills, but mostly the most important thing is that are 100% customizable on your side. So the idea is that we wanted to give you the full access to this feature, to this product, to replicate your real scenarios. In terms of what you can do with job simulation, the idea is that we wanted to help and solve challenges, build projects, or helping people work in a team like you will do in real life. Plus, so it's very important with the idea to say, I wanted to improve my writing, my presentation skills, and think about a new kind of assessment. So probably you are familiar with assessment made by survey, multiple choice question. So with AI job simulation, we wanted to improve that experience, but mostly help people to show what they are really able to do.
And here, let me chime in for a second. If you go back one slide, I think the other component that is quite unique, and of course you're going to see that in the demo, is also the ability to improve your presentation skills. So a lot of what we do in the job simulation is, of course, like solving a real challenge, building a project, working with the team in that simulation, with the AI team, with the virtual actors. But a lot of that is also going into the final assignment, which is basically a document that people need to build, need to write. And that is, that's a feedback that we got from some of our customers already. That's a way for them to really measure also the writing capabilities of their people, the presentation skills of their people, which I think is usually something that is very difficult to assess.
Yeah, no, you're right, Stefano, you're right. And here, as you can see, we try to summarize some of the potential use cases that you can, where you essentially can adopt job simulation. So think about that you can improve and automate your hiring processes. So the idea is that we wanted to help talent managers to use job simulation to simplify their hiring processes. And as I say, the idea is that we wanted to replicate real scenarios. So the idea is that if someone has applied for my company or any specific role, I can assess the skill of this person, trying to see if this person is a good fit or not for my organization. On the onboarding side, so the idea is that for junior people that are new on the company, trying to invite them, taking a job simulation that will test them and help them to see the internal procedure, the internal task, and to be up to go on the on real project. As I said before, we really see the value of a new kind of assessment using job simulation. And the idea is really to test both skills, so soft and hard skills, but not just for assessment, because the idea is that we wanted to give the opportunity to all the members that are using Anthropos, and in particular job simulation, to use that feature to upskill themselves and to train themselves without any issues, or without working on real project, real customer. So the idea is that you can make a mistake, and we really suggest people using job simulation to make mistake and to improve themselves. That's why also the coaching part is very, very important for us to use the platform. As I said, and as also Stefano said at the beginning, this is just one of the feature of the platform. So probably in the coming weeks we will show you the full platform. But speaking about job simulation, for sure, yes, the coaching side is something that we really wanted to emphasize today and show you, thanks to an example that in a few minutes we will show you. Another important thing that I see as the real value of the job simulation is that are 100% customizable. So the idea is that you, and think about that within your organization, you can invite more admins, so people that are in charge of creating new job simulation, managing the results of this job simulation, and see how they are, if they are working or not. So the idea also to improve and manage it in the future. And to do that, we provide this feature named Anthropos Studio. So basically, using Anthropos Studio, if you're an admin of the organization, you're using Anthropos, you can essentially use our job simulation that are ready to be used on our library, but you can also create your own version. You can verify, as I said, soft and hard skills. And the idea is that on our side, so on Anthropos side, is to build and public new job simulation every month. On the result side, so the idea is that after the completion of any of the job simulation assigned to your team or to your entire organization, the platform will show you instantly the results of this job simulation. So in two ways, the idea is that we wanted to show you the results, so to see if and to show if that job simulation was completed in a positive way or not, plus sharing some ideas, suggestion in terms of what I have to improve, what kind of skills I need to improve in order to repeat or maybe to work on real scenarios and to make sure that I will be able to solve it in the right way. But for sure, during the demo session, we will show you that too. I don't know, Stephanie, if you wanted to add more. Otherwise,
No, I think we can jump to the demo and show the real thing to everybody.
great.
Cool. Thank you so much, Mario. Let me share my screen quickly. Okay. I'm gonna be a presenter and let me show you my screen. Okay. So you should be able to see my screen. This is actually a job simulation. So what I'm going to do is walking you through the real experience as an end user, as an employee. Job simulations right now are available in our library. As Mario just said, we are planning to release more every month. But at the end of the day, every company can actually take a job simulations that they're building for any role, for any task, and decide to customize all of it, right? So it's pretty simple with Anthropos Studio. So this job simulation is actually titled Create New Product Features Using AI for a Software Company. These are job simulations that we have built for the role of product manager. So for people that are actually product managers today, or for people that are aspiring to become a product manager, or even for people that have project management skills and they actually want to experience what it feels like to become a product manager. For every job simulations, we basically give everybody a mission, right? So the mission today is being part of a company that is called Met Software. This company is a US company, software as a service. They are an enterprise solution for hospitals. So what they do is basically letting the hospital organize all sorts of data, all sorts of service for the end users or for the patients, but also for anything that is related to their backend, their processes. And what Met Software wants to do is actually start using AI, start using some of the new functionalities that came up in the last couple of years to accelerate their growth, right? They feel like they've been left behind in some areas of the software. There are customers that are complaining about specific use cases. And so as a product manager, I've been tasked by my manager to go talk to the customers, talk to some of the stakeholders even that are using Met Software, and basically build a solution, design first and foremost, a solution, and then build that solution for Met Software. And as you can see, the way I complete the simulation is basically writing down a document that could be a PDF, it could be a doc that I need to submit to my manager. And I need to explain these two things. So first of all, I need to go and talk to all the people that I'm going to find in the simulation. And then I need to write a document where, first of all, I explain what is the solution that I came up with for Met Software. And second one is actually understanding how I'm going to be able to implement all of that. So I need to also talk and collaborate with the engineering team. And speaking of which, the team is actually composed by my manager, David, and then I have a few stakeholders, Teresa, Brad, and Katia. And then I have Luca, who is actually one of my team members. He's working in the engineering team, he's a tech lead. And so that is going to be the person that is going to be helpful on my side to understand exactly how long does it take to build this functionality. And as you can see, all of this is invented. So Met Software is not a real company. These are not real people. But of course, the experience is going to be fairly real. So everything they're going to see is going to be like in real life. And we have skills here covered. We mentioned before that Anthropos has a technology to track skills and to manage skills inside the organization. So of course, for every job simulations, not only will we bring, the person, the employee inside a real scenario, but we also want to make sure that we manage and we assess specific skills connected to that. And in this case, we have. With that being said, I'm going to click Start Simulation. I did that already. So in order to accelerate things here, I just started a job simulation, so you can see it here. In this case, I do have at the top, it's a chat, as you can see right now. I do have at the top a description of every person that I have in the simulation. So I can go to David, who is the Chief Product Officer at Med Software. Katia, she's actually a patient of one of the hospitals using the software. Luca, as I just said, is one of my colleagues. Teresa is another customer of us. She's a head of customer support in Chicago at another hospital. And then we also have a non-technical person, Brad, who is actually a general counsel in San Diego at a community hospital. And of course, he's having some issues. But let me go back to the beginning. So David is reaching out to me and is basically telling me, look, Stefan, I need your help. You're my product manager in my team, and I need you to start working on this thing. That's actually something that the board wants to see pretty soon. And of course, I can start a dialogue with David pretty easily. So, like in real life, I'm asking a few questions. The first one is actually, what kind of LLM can I use? And David is telling me, well, we have a partnership with Microsoft Azure, so OpenAI is going to be the selected solution for us. But then I can also ask a variety of other things, like, when do I need to get this done? And so he's saying, well, the board is under pressure. I am under pressure as your boss. And so I need this as soon as possible by the end of next week. And then, of course, I could keep the conversation going. So David, in this case, and like in a lot of other cases inside a simulation, is also a coach. Like, it would be if I was in real life with my manager. And so I can even ask things like, thanks a lot. Do you think I should use a specific strategy to talk to our engineering team? I know they're busy. So like any product manager, of course, I'm concerned about, building all of this and thinking about all the things. And then I go to product and they basically tell me like, hey, we don't have time for this, right? So I can use David as a product as a coach in this case, and I can go back to him as many times as I want, asking for more things. Let me show you what happens with a real customer, with a real conversation. So Teresa is actually a person that has been using Med software to manage tickets inside our team, and things haven't been going well, right? So in this case, I'm basically, presenting myself, saying that I've been working for Med Software for a while, and then she starts talking to me about the problems that she has with Med Software. And I can start diving deep into the conversation like I would do with any real customer, with any real stakeholder that has been using our software. And she's saying that basically the problem is very simple. They are overwhelmed. Med software doesn't have an intuitive UI. And on top of that, there is no way to basically automate things, right? Keep in mind that my goal in this simulation is actually to find the most important problem that I can solve for Med software with AI. So I'm trying different things. I'll show you in a second. I'm trying different ways to understand exactly what's blocking these customers. And I'm also asking more information. So at some point, she's basically telling me, okay, we have different types of tickets, right, that we are getting from our patients, from our customers. And I can even ask her an example of those tickets, right? So she's giving me a lot of that. And on top of that, she's also giving me her opinion. Like, I said, I see what would be the perfect solution in your opinion to reduce the pressure in your team. And so she's basically telling me a few of her thoughts on how she would solve this, right? And I could, continue the conversation for a while. For example, I could say, thank you a lot. That's very clear. Last question. What do you think would be enough today among all those things to give you guys some relief, right? So that's a real conversation. And of course, I'm showing my skills as a product manager in the way I'm conducting the conversation, in the way I'm basically trying to go into more routes, right? To find problems, to find potential issues, and try to understand how big these issues are for people, but also in the way I'm talking to customers, because a lot of our customers at Anthropos, sorry for the little word game, are basically looking at a tool like this to understand also if there are people who are capable of showing in front of customers, or working with customers, or negotiating with customers. And so in this case, of course, she's coming back with some other thoughts, and at the end of the day, it's my decision to keep going or say, okay, I've learned enough with Teresa. If you go to other people, you have a similar situation. So you still have like someone like Brad. In his case, the issue is actually that he cannot get access to enough data inside Met software, and his CEO has been asking for a solution to prevent lawsuits, right? from happening. And so this is a completely different case, right? And as you can see, we basically built inside a simulation a story that is slightly different. There is a solution even here if you're a good product manager, which is basically saying, okay, the common thing between the two things is actually that data is really difficult to manage inside Med software. The interface is not really good. So how can I use AI to come up with a solution like that? And then, you have someone like Katia, who is actually an end user because she has been using Met software on her mobile phone. And the issue here is basically that she couldn't get enough notifications. She couldn't really use the software properly. And so that's another use case. And last but not least, I've been talking to Luca, and that's something that I think it's particularly interesting for our customers because it gets more into tech skills. It shows you how you can actually use job simulations to manage tech skills and soft skills, as we've just seen. And in this case, I'm actually talking to a colleague of mine, a fairly technical one, of course. And the point is saying, okay, how do I basically understand how I can work with the engineering team, how I can commit to my board, to my manager with building this functionality, knowing that the engineering team will be able to build all of that on time. And so the conversation gets fairly technical, as you can see. And I can also work with Luca, like in this case. So for example, he's telling me like, I think we're going to use a pre-trained model, makes a lot of sense. But I'm also asking, what are the obstacles there? And so he's coming back to me saying, well, these are the things that I think, we probably need to consider. And I could continue the conversation saying, what about privacy? Do you think that's my first concern? And we cannot really compromise on that, even with this tight deadline. So I can really start working with Luca, in this case as a colleague, and we can really come up with a plan because, part of my goal is also to understand how I can implement all of this. If you want to remember, if you want to get a reminder of your goals, you can always go back to the task overview. And so I'm going to go back to this page with all the description, but also I can always go to the assignment template. And the assignment template is, as the words say, a template that shows you the answers that you need to provide for the document. So the first one is, what's the main problem all customers are having with that software? So I need to describe basically what I've discovered. The second one is, how would I solve the problem? I need to detail my idea and the feature that I propose to build. And then there is the product implementation. And that's the reason why I really need to spend some time with Luca, because otherwise it's going to be difficult for me to detail exactly what are the obstacles and what are the things that I have to do. So as I said, Luca came back to me again, and so he's basically working with me on a few other things. I could go on with the job simulations for a while. This is probably something that you can complete in an hour or a couple of hours tops. But of course, there are people that are spending more time and people that are spending less time based on their skills. As soon as I'm done, what's going to happen is pretty simple. I go back to David and I said, David, I'm ready with my proposal. Let me know what do you think. Oh, sorry. Okay. And I click here and I can simply attach a document. Of course, I prepare the document already with my work. And what's happening behind the scene is actually our system analyzing that document, analyzing also the conversation. And in this case, it's going to tell us if I passed the simulation or I didn't pass the simulation. There is also another view that we're not able to show you today here that is basically giving you a score on every skill that is attached to the simulation. So if I'm a good product manager and one of the skills was, of course, product management, I'm going to get a score, 4 out of 5, for example, and so on and so forth. And the beautiful thing is actually that you can also let your people understand how they can improve, providing feedback. So for every single thing, you can automatically provide feedback on what else they could have done, what else they could have improved or done better to get a better score. And of course, if I click here, I'm just going to get simulation finished. I passed the simulation, of course, because the document is being prepared already. And at any point in time, I can go back. I can go back to the simulation, right? Like in this case. Let me show you quickly. Again, we don't have it here, but I can show you quickly also how it looks like for the company. So once you basically have multiple simulations that have been assigned inside your system, inside your team, or there are simply people that have been, playing with job simulations, either for, candidates that have been screened or full-time employees, you actually have a dashboard where you can see the number of sessions that have been completed for every person, the completion date, their status. So did they pass or did they not pass? The interaction, so how much they interacted with the other people inside the organization. And last but not least, of course, the materials. And what we mean with that are the chats. So I could go back and really see what that person has been saying or has been talking to each single person inside a simulation, but also, of course, the documents, right? And then, it really gives you an idea of what that person is capable of, right? So that's really the power of this solution. And this is just, another way of looking at the same thing by job simulation. So if you have multiple job simulations inside a system, you can run as many as you want. We support thousands of job simulations at the same time. That's not an issue. So at that point, you can see even, the top performers or, the best people for each single one. And with that being said, let me go back to my screen. Okay. So once you finish the job simulations, of course, as an employee, I could start, other job simulations. I could look for job simulations in the library as well. And as a company, of course, you can provide as many as you want. So you can modify them, and you can also build them from scratch using Anthropos Studio. I don't think there is anything else. Mario, anything else that you want to add before we answer a couple of questions?
No, I'm just thinking about what you showed briefly about the job simulation insight. I think that the value is for sure about to see the best people within my organization, also in terms of their career, their with the idea to change their role, so within the company, but also in helping the talent manager about the results of the people that that have done one of these job simulation after applying for a specific job role. So this is very helpful to help talent manager, HR people to check and say, okay, I wanted to simplify and accelerate my hiring processes.
Yeah, totally. And that's a good point, because a lot of companies are using this to train people and to really, move people into new roles. But a lot of them are also using, this for a variety of use cases that, we haven't thought about. And some of them are just verifying about specific skills. Some of them are about, hiring, of course. So there are all sorts of, scenarios that you can build with this, and all sorts of use cases that you can build inside the organization. Let me get one question from Barbara. So the question is, what's the process to modify a job simulation? As I said, the idea is basically using Anthropos Studio. It's a tool that we designed. It's the tool that actually we use to build our own job simulations. Let me go back to the screen with the job simulation. And it's pretty simple. So you can actually start with a template. The template could be a job simulations we published, a public one, and you can easily modify everything. So you can modify slightly the story. You can, for example, change the name of the company with your company. You could change the team. You could change, of course, anything that is related to the task that needs to be completed. So I would say that you can basically build whatever comes to mind when it comes down to the modification. Or, as I said, you can actually start from scratch, right? Which is the other option. So if you want to build a specific scenario or even a specific task that you want to test your people with, or you want to coach your people on that, you can actually start from scratch and design that by yourself. Let's see. We have other questions.
Well, I see a question here, Stefan, that someone is asking about Anna. What kind of job simulation I will see on the Anthropos library?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're actually building a variety of job simulations. So the first ones that we are publishing are mostly related to things like product management, project management. We do have one for customer support, for example. In the next few months, we're going to double down on everything that is mostly related to tech roles. So product management is one good example. Tech lead could be another one. Software engineering could be another one as well. But then we're also adding everything that is related to digital. So digital marketing is a big area where we do have a few scenarios that we are building. And then toward the end of the year, we're probably going to publish a lot more about sales and marketing and every role that is not, strictly technology related, but it's still important. A lot of these simulations at the end of the day want to test not just like, the soft part, but also the tech skills. So of course, we're prioritizing the ones where there is a lot of demand or, our customers are actually demanding more job simulations in the library.
Yeah, I think that also maybe because right now we are just showing the job simulation, but the platform can offer more and more. So probably during the next webinar, we will show a full demo of the platform, so people will be able that potentially we can essentially help not just the department but the entire organization.
Yep, and we can talk about a skill path. So the job simulation is basically our technology to assess skills and to really train people in a very immersive way, which I think is, one of the advantages actually that people really have fun usually doing job simulations. But of course, there is a lot more that we can show you in the next one. I don't see other, let me see, maybe one. Okay, we have another question. Is it currently supporting group conversation or only one-on-one conversation, Ton? Great question. Thanks so much. Right now, it's actually just one-on-one. That's something that we are planning, having a group conversation. Right now, we mostly have one-to-one conversations, and even like the ability to chat and the ability to basically have this type of interaction is something that we are evolving pretty soon. So especially in the month of April and May, we're going to release a few more things, the ability to support documents, the ability to actually interact in a even more immersive way with people in the simulation, but right now, just one-to-one. Thanks for the question. Cool. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to release the recording in the next few hours, and you're going to get an email with all of this. You can try job simulations yourself. So if you go online, you just need to sign up for Anthropos, pretty easy to do so. And then you can use some of the job simulations that are available in our library. And of course, feel free to reach out. We are happy to demo you something specific. We are happy to understand more how we can help your organization. And thank you again for joining us. And thank you, Mario, for the presentation.
Thank you, Stefano, and see you next time.
See you guys. Thank you so much.